Oktoberfest is coming.
Okay. It's Pete Johnson, right? Yeah, let me lock this real quick. How do you spell that?
Johnsson.
Cool.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, we're getting ready to filter the Pilsner. We don't serve, I don't know how many of our beers you tried. There's probably 15 of them on the board right now.
Sampled the
habanero.
X and the habanero.
But
Double X is good, man.
some of them are, unfiltered beers, obviously. The certain styles, the wheat beers, and even the IPA I like unfiltered, the double IPA. But other beers, the Pilsner should be filtered, should be nice and clear.
Right, nice and clear.
Right, so that's what we're getting ready to do here.
Do right now?
Simple plate and frame filter.
Nice. Yeah, the double IPA was surprisingly dark in color last night.
Yeah, this one's this one's a little maltier than it's been sometimes.
Really?
And to me, what's really surprising is you drink it next to the IPA. The IPA tastes hoppier, even though I know that there's probably twice as many hops in the double IPA. Ooh, there was a lot of them in this one. This one, I think there's Citra and Cascade and Warrior and Summit and possibly Chinook.
So what's your background? How'd you get into all this? It's pretty independent, seems like little setup we got going on here.
Yeah, well, I got into brewing as a home brewer back in the 90s. I was a scientist working as an engineer here in some high-tech company. Yeah. That's right, I tell people I was a rocket scientist because my first job out of college was re-entry guidance for the space shuttle. So I worked in Houston doing,
Really?
So I can claim to be a rocket scientist.
Now you're doing re-entry guidance for
That's right. This is way more fun,
This is way more fun.
Don't talk to a room full, right?
A little less pressure.
Room full of colonels who are, half of them don't like what you have to say. Anyway, yeah. So now we're brewing beer. I started home brewing about 1989, 90. And it started as a hobby, just took over my life. I'd be at work thinking about making beer. I thought, well, you might as well have a job where thinking about making beer is actually useful.
That's it.
So here we are. So yeah, I've been here since this place. We've been open for 13 years now, and we always planned to brew beer, but it took us the first 4 to get the brewery up and going. So the brewery's only been running since 2003.
Right.
We've been making small batches of beer on this 7-barrel system. We used to be over there. We were right behind the bar, which was kind of fun because I got to talk to people while I was brewing, but it also was kind of cramped.
Now they put the glass up because all the profanity and everything else back there.
Well, we were so close. I mean, you could literally from the bar reach over and grab a handle if you really wanted to. I was real lucky that someday I didn't just open the wrong handle and spray everybody at the bar with caustic. That wouldn't have been.
So I was really surprised for such a small operation in terms of square footage, how many different beers you have.
Right. Well,
Why are you able to do that? And I don't see that elsewhere.
I don't know. I mean, we brew in small batches, which means you don't have to make too much of a beer. And some beers will last; they'll be around for a couple of months because they're the slower sellers. So I don't know. I think we sell all our beer right here. We're not selling kegs elsewhere or bottling or canning. So I think we can. I don't know. I guess we're just busy.
Right. Sure.
Keep.
So that habanero wheat hot shot is.
Yeah. Tell us where that came from.
Okay. Here's my question. How the hell did you get there?
We were just sitting around one day, the kitchen here. The food's really good. I don't know if you guys ate last night.
We came in like 5 minutes before.
We
were trying to shut down. We just want one beer.
They were trying to pick sides.
But the food's really good and fairly creative, and they use a lot of, there's a certain Southwest influence. There's a lot of habaneros in a couple of things. And they make this raspberry habanero sauce that's really good on a couple of pork dishes and the corn cakes. But I digress. We were sitting around one day thinking about raspberry stout. I had a stout, and somebody was talking about blueberry or raspberry stout. And I go, I'm going to put some of the raspberry habanero sauce in it. And it was just, just in a glass, we're just messing around. And it was really the wrong texture. That stuff's kind of thick and gooey, and it didn't work well at all. But the heat came through, and I thought, oh, the habanero's in a beer. That might be fun. Yeah. So we chopped some up and put them in, and probably the main reason I keep making it is I really like the looks on people's faces when they try it for the first time. I don't drink that stuff, but
That's about a shot is about all I
Right. We
yeah.
sell it in the shop. You can drink it in pints if you want.
Oh,
You know,
Lord.
some people drink it by pints. Those people are crazy.
I very rarely see this man not finish a beer, and that's only what 4 or 6
4
hours.
ounces in that little
Yeah,
shot,
finish
right?
it.
And he left half of it behind.
Well, when
Right.
you drink that double IPA, it's so smooth and easygoing. The
Right.
last thing I want to do is ruin my palate with
Right.
beer flavor. But what? So do you guys have?
I kind of like
What are-
mixing
what are,
it
like,
now
your
and then.
brand
I put
ideas
I
you
put
got
a little
going
bit of it, just maybe an ounce in a pint of triple. You get that
Whoa.
Belgian
Ooh.
taste, and you don't really
Sweet and
taste it so
spicy.
much. But about halfway through, your mouth's all tingly, you know.
try
But
that.
to drink it straight up, it's just crazy.
You guys got anything crazy in the works right now? Anything?
Unusual,
wanna try unusual?
not really. We're in the middle of ramping up for Oktoberfest, so we're making, that's not really crazy, a nice amber German lager,
Okay.
Oktoberfest beer. That's what's in that big tank right there in the front.
Flavored beer.
That's right. Yeah, it's one of my
Mustard-
favorite styles.
Mustard IPA, a Dusseldorf. All right.
So we'll be doing that, and that, we do it in October. We tent the parking lot out back here.
Okay.
We make it into a German beer hall. That's a lot of fun. We drink out of liter glasses.
Very cool.
I wear lederhosen, the girls got the dirndls on. We have a 12-piece tuba band that plays. Yeah, it's great stuff.
What's your favorite style of beer? What do you like doing?
That's a tough one, I like a lot of these beers. But, I make more lagers than most people do, just because I really like the dark German style lagers. Of course, we make IPA. I really like IPA and double IPA. That's
Yeah.
probably what I drink the most of,
Okay.
of course, of a day. Wheat beers, in the morning when you're thirsty and you're.
That's right. Thirsty, you gotta drink a beer.
Most definitely.
Or if you're like us, you drink too much coffee and you get the shakes, and then you cancel it out with
A beer.
a beer.
So, what's that? Oh, it's great. We get a big crowd out there, Everybody gets into drinking out of the big mugs.
Right.
Prosting and all.
Prosting
You drink
all over.
differently out of those kind of
Yeah.
mugs. You take longer and more
slugs.
satisfying sips.
Nice hot warm day.
Yeah.
Nice. Can we sample possibly a couple beers?
Sure.
What's going
We
on
can
right
try a
now?
couple beers. See where. What are we? Are we
Sounds
about
like
to
you do
start
it, you
running
guys.
water?
Yet.
What?
Haven't started running hard yet.
No, I said, are you about to?
Yeah.
Yeah, just trying to figure out where we are. Casey does all the work these days. I'll just get you some beer. What do
All
you
right.
think? What should we try?
We'll leave that up to you.
Oh.
Really needs to have.
And he's gotta try the
He
hot
wasn't
shot.
here last time.
I would love to try.
Those are hot. Wow. Oh.
Back there. Where should we go? Back there?
Oh, we can sample them here. That'd be easier to pour them.
Let's just keep Marty running in circles.
That's right.
funnier.
That is funny. Okay, that's the habanero.
Uh-oh.
This is
Don't taste
this is saison, baseball saison we call it, because that's what saison we're in. It's Belgian style baseball saison. And then this is the IPA.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah,
Tell
it's
us
IPA,
tell us
all right.
What are these again? One more time.
That's the habanero pilsner. This is saison. It's a farmhouse style Belgian ale, fairly strong but still light and drinkable. And of course, that's the IPA. Smell it now, the aroma on the IPA. Came out really nice this time. Dry hopped with citra hops.
So I should probably try this last so I don't burn my
Yeah.
taste buds off.
Yeah, after you taste that, you're not going to be able to taste anything else.
You are so correct in saying that tastes way, like, almost tastes hoppier than the
It's way
double.
hoppier than the double.
I think
Even
it's
though,
just because all the citrus and
right,
pine
and sometimes they
comes
don't
through.
come out. You know, sometimes the double
Well, the
just
doubles get hidden sometimes because
right because there's so much more malt,
Yeah.
which
There's that
makes
malt
it
in there and it definitely
right to
tones
get that
it down,
alcohol up
But
there.
that's where those things will sneak up and totally kick your ass.
Right, the double
Like,
IPA gets
oh,
people.
it's
We don't want
delicious.
it. Sometimes it drinks just like IPA, but
By the way,
it'll catch up to you.
the saison, Marty, is called baseball saison because that's a saison rain.
That's right. I mean, in the fall, of course, we make football saison.
Football saison.
It's a little more hard
coming
hitting,
up.
you
A
know.
little hard hitting.
It's the color of pigskin. Hits you like a linebacker from the blind side that you didn't see coming. You know, you're there drinking your beer. Next thing you know, you're picking your face out of the dirt. And what the hell was that? But anyway, I digress
I
again.
digress. What's this one?
That's the baseball
This is the
saison.
baseball
So you can
saison,
smell the fruit. You know, there's no fruit actually added. It's just use those very estery Belgian yeasts.
Drink a lot of that on a hot day.
Yeah, it's nice. It's mild. It's got a nice carameliness to it.
Yeah, almost a little. There's some sort of fruit flavor in there from the
It's very
esters.
viscous. I like it.
Viscous.
Nice. A little thick, kind of oily. I know too many big words for my own good.
Sorry.
I have no idea what viscous even means. I just kind of learned what that what was it? Lactobacillus?
That's it,
saison.
yeah.
We were right. Talking about Brian.
Oh,
the
talking about lactobacillus.
Yeah, or bacillus. I can't ever pronounce it, and I'm like, Brian, you need to put this in terms for us because I can't ever get it right.
They're doing some interesting beers over there.
They are, yeah. They got some nice stuff. We just tried like some of the simpler stuff, like California Ale and
Right.
the white ale. Just really traditional, but it's so tasty.
Gonna try something dark. We gotta finish these
Yeah.
first. Try your habanero.
Not yet.
Oh no, you gotta get this on camera
Your
for
first
sure.
hit of this has to be.
Yeah.
I feel like we've hyped it up so much now that your
Right.
reaction.
It's not real hot in the front of your mouth, you know. It's kind of mild. When you swallow it, you kind of feel it all the way down your throat.
Wait. I need you to take a big gulp.
Big gulp. I'm gonna spit it on the screen.
Take her out.
That's a big hit. What flavor profile would you give that?
What's the flavor that makes your eyes leak out of the sides?
Habanero. Tears.
Yeah.
Tears of goodness.
Tastes like tears.
Spicy tears. That thing is gnarly.
Yeah, there used to be a girl who'd come in and order it by pints. She'd drink 4 or 5 of them in a row. Every time I'd walk by, she'd yell at me, "Can't you make it any hotter?"
So this is the saison. You put that in. You tried it.
I've done that already. Yeah, you could give it a try. I like it in the triple, but the saison would have pretty much the same effect.
Let's give it a try. Just getting creative right now.
Some people mix it with the apricot wheat too. Go for a.
All right. Shit's getting crazy.
I didn't say it like that.
Oh, I think we poured it in the IPA.
I don't know. It was funny.
Oh, you put it in the IPA?
Yep. But this could be really good.
I know
A spicy IPA.
in my house, you know. It's like I wouldn't tell
I think that's too much going on.
Breaking boundaries.
That shit is so strange. It is. I love it. It's amazing. Just that little bit can overpower.
Let's be
We just ruined a perfectly good IPA.
Yeah.
he was being sort of, you know, I don't know. I
Still getting
dream
drunk.
of it.
Thanks.
So I'm back with
Put a splash in there.
supposed to go in.
Yeah, that's what it was supposed to go
Yeah, that's
in.
good.
It's like a drop or two.
got all with her, and then he tells me I'm sort of not with her, but that's why shit people couldn't stand.
That makes way more sense.
I could drink a novel.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it in the Belgian beers. In the IPA, no, that's not a good
hops and
idea.
the peppers.
Right.
That's good though. Oh my god.
Okay, let's try something else.
Try something else. Well, the cool thing is you'll get like, then you'll still
That's the red ale. I really like this batch of red ale. We used a hop that I hadn't used before called Galaxy hops, which have this real nice, I get almost a tropical fruit kind of flavor out of them. Maybe mangoes or passion fruit out of the hops. Give it a try, see what you think.
Then he walks by and looks at us in the trailer park when
Right.
You know, it's
You
like,
feel it all the way
it's not on
down.
your tongue at all. It's like right on the back
your
of your
throat,
mouth.
dude. Makes you feel like you're gonna wake
Like,
up hoarse
down
in the
here, it's
morning.
like when you take a shot of whiskey or something, you like feel it all the way down.
So what do you think? You taste the
It's really
mangoes?
in the end. It's really in the end.
Yeah.
Almost like a touch of like apricot or something in there. Yeah, mangoes. But it's all in like that finish. Up front, you just kind of.
Right, the front's all malty,
Nice malt.
little caramel sweetness. I like the reds as a place to balance, you know, a lot of hops with some sweetness. Get any darker, you know, like the browns and the porters, they're more about the malt. Of course, the IPA and the pale, they're more about the hops.
What like makes the red red?
Well, it's all from the malt. All the colors come
you
from
just-
the grain.
So what?
We
kind
just use the crystal malts. I use slightly more and slightly darker crystal malts than I do in the pale.
What's the craziest beer you have ever made?
Oh, I don't know. Probably that habanero stuff.
Really?
Depends what you mean. I mean, we've used.
I've had this like weird. I want to make a bacon stout.
Ah.
People think I'm crazy for that.
Well, I
but
make a. We make a. You know, if you ever had smoked beer, German Rauch beer.
Oh yeah,
That tastes like bacon.
it does. It's got that nice bacon
Right.
kind of finish.
And I made one. We made a. It was supposed to be a good German Rauch beer, a nice lager, and something went a little strange on, and it went beyond bacon all the way to ham, which you know is kind of a strange flavor to encounter in beer. Definitely unique, but not real pleasant.
You went from the belly right to the side.
We ended up dumping most of that.
Yeah.
I was gonna save it as a breakfast special. You know, you get it with a side of
Right,
French,
get a side of eggs.
Right.
Yeah. Some French toast.
right? Yeah, a little
French
ham
toast
on the
beer.
side.
I'm just always like coming up with the strangest concoctions in my head. I just want to do the weird stuff. Should have hit that.
Shouldn't that?
No, once you tried that, yeah, you're really not gonna taste any of the other beers. The subtlety is all lost. Which is why I always do that when we do a tasting. There's this company in town called Captain Jack's, which he does, you know, he started out doing kayak tours and bicycle tours and wine tours. Now he does beer tours too. And when he comes by on the beer tour, you know, I give people a taste of all these beers, tour the brewery, but I always save the habanero for last. And then send them off to my buddies over at Telegraph. They love me, you know, because guys get there and they can't taste any of their beer. Oh well.
That's a way to ruin something. Like, man, all that last beer, that stuff was amazing. Your beer's kind of boring now. It doesn't taste very good. Should we
Try something darker.
little darker?
We can move up with the brown or the porter. The porter's really robust.
It's,
We done with this one? The hot, the. Porter. That's really roasty. Chocolatey, kind of coffee-like.
do you guys have any beers you use coffee in the batches?
I have made coffee stout a couple times. The local coffee company, the Santa Barbara Roasting Company. The guy makes me a cold-pressed toddy, sort of, you know, like 5 gallons of this cold brewed coffee. Because if you brew it hot, you know, when you're the brewing process of hot, you know, you smell the coffee, and that's wonderful, but it's not going into your beer if you're smelling it now. So he makes me those things, and we just add them into a stout. We done that a couple times, but this one has no actual coffee in it. Oh, it did use a Belgian malt called Kiln Coffee, which has a lot of coffee aroma.
Right. Cool. Yeah. All right, so I'm missing. What is this?
This is the porter. It's a robust porter, American style porter, but it's uses a Belgian malt called Kiln Coffee, which gives us kind of a coffee and chocolate sort of aroma and flavor.
Smells.
We were talking about using actual coffee. I've done that a couple times. Also tried using cacao nibs, you know, for chocolate. We made a chocolate bock that came out really nice, I thought.
Really?
You know, it had that real dark kind of, it wasn't like the sweet Hershey's kind of chocolate. It had that dark chocolate, like, you know, those 80% dark chocolate bars, those kind of things.
This is the blackout porter.
It is.
Smells amazing.
It does. You wake up and drink that with your breakfast.
It's robust.
You know what's great about this though? It's like sometimes porters get a little thick. This is like it's almost like
That's
got
right.
that black lager kind of
You
feel.
need that,
It's,
yeah.
like, just enough where you can actually like really drink it. You know?
You don't need a spoon.
Yeah, you don't need a spoon. You're not chewing it like some stout. But I mean that's great. Oh, there's a little bacon almost in the end of that. Wait, you just
Hint
wait
of
for it.
smoke, is there?
It's that smokiness at the end. I like to call it bacon. Some people call it smokiness.
Now that that ham, the one that went to ham, we called it Hormel Lager for a while. And then I called it the pig in the pint. But you know, it was interesting. Some people really liked it, but you know, there wasn't really any flaw with it, but it just was kind of a weird flavor. We ended up throwing it away. It was good for boiling bratwurst.
Oh, wow, yeah. That would be really good for anything.
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a good robust. That'll stand up to really hearty dishes. You could eat that with the, drink that with our stroganoff, say, or any of the steaks.
Steak, yeah. Yeah, I heard you guys have like a filet mignon quesadilla or something.
Enchiladas. The filet mignon enchiladas. They're awesome.
That sounds like it doesn't sell at all. This beer's awesome. I don't want to drink it because I love the finish so much.
Hey. There was one beer I had a while back. I like the smell so much. I just wanted to smell it.
Smell it,
I didn't want to drink something else and just smell this one occasionally.
This is a good one to wash away that.
Yeah, that'll get the habanero out of your mouth.
Yeah. It's nice and
I always, have you ever smoked the Black and Mild?
Uh-uh.
Those little cigarillo things? They're awful. But
like the
if you're
Swiss.
standing 20 feet away from somebody else who's smoking one, it smells amazing.
It smells amazing.
I love the way
Like
it smells.
vanilla.
They're like,
It's close.
they're
It's like
cheap
pipes.
cigars.
Pipes always smell good to me when I smoke them
smell.
myself. Like, this isn't any fun.
Yeah. It doesn't taste like the tweed coat smells.
Yeah.
This is really good.
I put, I made some
What
grits
else?
a couple weeks ago. I put Stone Black IPA.
In
Grits.
oh, in grits.
Yeah, with sausage. It was insane. Wow. That sounds intense. Yeah.
Cooking with beer. What haven't we tried? The wit beer. Let's go with the double. Well, we're still on the dark side. It's a Belgian double, St. Barb's double. So it's we do 3 of the monastic, Trappist style beers. We make a double and a triple, and then one I just call the Abbey, which I think's not on the board right now. But we have the double and the triple. Into the Belgian thing. So I get flavors. I get flavors like of raisins, and some sort of ripe fruit.
Like that too?
I do have a quad that we'll bring it out at Christmas time.
Oh really? Save for the winter.
Because it says kind of sweet finish. Because we put so much stuff in there that doesn't really ferment out all the way. So it's like a Christmas cookie sort of a beer.
Do you add a lot? Do you add like spices and?
To the quad, no, it's usually all just
Or to
yeast.
this even,
Yeah,
or
no,
no?
this is all yeast
It's all
induced.
yeast?
Sometimes I
And
put a
it's
little
like-
orange
it's
peel
like
in the
candy.
triple.
What's that? It's like a.
Orange peel in the triple sometimes.
God, it's like a raisin nut bar.
Yeah, we make one version of the triple. I take our Belgian triple and soak a small keg in a lot of orange peel, and then we call it Orange Crush. It almost tastes like that old orange soda.
That's wow. That's really good too. That's actually I like finishing of this beer. 'Cause it's
There you
like
go.
Kind of ultra.
And with the
sweetness
double.
To it, but still,
It's a dessert beer.
yeah, it's a great dessert beer.
We don't have any of the big beers right now. I mean, sometimes we have either a barley wine or a Scotch ale, but those are more wintertime beers. Although in Santa Barbara, it's winter at night, it's summer in the daytime.
Cold last night.
Temperature varies more with the time of day than the time of year. Yeah. If you tell me it's 40 out, I'm going to tell you it's dark. I don't know. Could be July, could be winter.
Yes, sir.
We probably ought to press on before too long.
Yeah, it's
If you
12:30.
don't mind, I'm going to go back in there and just get some other
Sure.
some shots of the.
I'll go in and see what's going on. What is going on?
About a minute until we have to
Switch to beer? All right.
Right. Yep.
It's getting steamy in here.
Oh wow, yeah.
So what we're doing here is we're heat sanitizing the filter. So I'm running near boiling water through this plate and frame filter which both sanitizes it and helps remove any, you know, it's a paper-based filter, so you want to flush that paper out for a little while too. But it gets a little steamy in here when we do this. We're heat sanitizing the filter. Getting ready to run beer through it, and you know, you want to sanitize it. Most things we sanitize, you know, with chemical sanitizers, but the filter materials, you know, they'll absorb whatever you run through it and then bleed it back out. So you don't really want it bleeding chemicals into your beer. But if it bleeds a little, you know, boiling water into it, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Gets a little steamy in here. It does make it tropical. Must be.
It's like a sauna in here. I think I should be wearing a towel.
Really? We do have, we could have turned the fan on, got it out of here a little more, but it's about done though. We've switched to beer. Okay, so we're running beer through the thing now, but we're still pushing water out, but at some point that's going to switch from being water, then it'll be watery beer, then it'll be beery water, and then it's time to run it into the fermenter.
How do you know when it's time to?
Oh, we just wait. Well, we can tell. It'll look like beer. It'll smell like beer. We lose a little beer down the drain, but you know, that's, where's the beer?
How long is this process usually?
What, the whole filtration? It varies, you know, sometimes the filter's clogged, sometimes they filter more cleanly. It helps if we let the beer stand cold longer and get more of the yeast to drop out a solution. This one being a double-sized tank is probably going to take about an hour to filter once we start getting beer. Oh, it's starting to look like it's at least beery water.
Oh yeah, now we're doing it.
Watery beer. Can beer be far behind?
Quick, grab it, take stuff. And then just put your face up to it. Filter stand. So then what?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Once this becomes the beer, you're going to take this tube.
Well, no, that's just the drain hose.
Okay.
Inside there, he's got a T assembly, so he closes the drain and opens the valve into the tank. So we don't have to take anything out apart again. Everything's been heat sanitized,
Okay.
except probably the drain hose. But so now, yeah, nothing's draining out here. It's going into the destination tank. You guys want to look in here and see what? You have to walk on that side because once I open the door, it pretty much. So, did you open the gas on both sides? Right. Oh, it's cool in here.
Yeah.
From the sauna to the body cooler.
That's right. In fact, so it's going into the big tank in the back, and then these tanks, you know, these connect directly to the taps. So beer goes once it's in there and gets carbonated. The next step is to drink it. Yeah, so when you get a beer out of the taps, you know, this is as far away from home as it's ever been. Leaking a bit. Okay, give that another half crank.
Man, my glasses are gonna fog up so bad right here. We go. Bing. Foggy glasses. Here they go. Can't see the thing.
Well, maybe not. That's all we're getting is foam.
That's all that's in there.
No, this beer's too carbonated.
Let's see what it looks like on the other side. It's working.
It's nice and clear. It's awfully foamy though. Yeah. When this settles, see how nice and clear that is. Right. Whereas on the way in, it looks a little more like pear juice. They taste about the same, though. This Pilsner, all right.
So, quality control at its finest.
That's gonna be all right. Looks almost carbonated already.
So that beer right now, in your left hand, is what's on tap right now.
Well, this isn't the same batch. Yeah, we kegged off one keg of the previous batch. That's what's on tap while we fill the serving tank back up for the next one.
Nice.
At least we do that when we're actually on top of it. Sometimes we run out, and then there's no Pilsner for a while, and Pilsner drinkers. Whatever beer it is, you know, there's somebody who it's their favorite beer. And even though you have 14 other beers, they just can't
Do you guys
stand
have like
it.
a biggest seller that people just
The biggest seller is the IPA, you know, by far. I think that's
It's good.
that's
Great.
California wide nowadays, you know. IPAs are just going to take off. People, 10 years ago, I couldn't have sold an IPA that hoppy. People would have said, "Ooh, that's too much." Now they taste it and go, "Well, it's nice, but you got anything? You got a double IPA?" Yeah, it looks pretty good. Compared to that, still a little warm. Oh well. How much we get in there? Anything yet?
About half a barrel.
Half a barrel. You want to go through at a certain speed. About half a barrel every, or about a barrel every 5 minutes with that many sheets is a good rate. You guys see the grain room? Might as well see the whole setup. The grain room. So we mill, you know, the process starts, little grain fly. Process starts here in the grain room, you know, on the day we're brewing. Casey's back here cutting bags of grain open and feeding them into the mill, whereas I'm up on the platform by the mash tun there doughing this stuff in. So yeah, there's an auger there, connects the mill to the mash tun. There's grain of all sorts in here. American grain, English grain, Canadian grain, German grain. Try to keep that away from the English grain, you know, so they don't fight.
They don't get along very well.
That's right. Some Belgian malts in here too, different grains for different beers, you know.
Right. Is this statue here for any particular reason? Protects the grain?
It protects the grain, that's right. We have brewing weasels on the other side. We got, you know, this brewing. It's a combination art and science and magic. And you know, I used to be a scientist. Guess I'm artistic enough, so we need the totems to keep the magic under control as well.
Right.
Things keep happening, you know. I keep thinking, you know, that I've seen every, you know, because I've made over 800 batches now in this same system. You know, there's only a few things it can do. After 800 times, you'd think you'd have seen everything it's going to do, but no. Different things happen every week. Something happens. I'm just sitting there going, "What's up with that?" Keeps it interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is a keg washer. You stick them on here upside down, plug these things into them. And first it flushes it with a boiling or near boiling water. Blow that out with air. And then you fill it with a caustic cleaner. Blow that out with air. Then you fill it with the sanitizer and blow that out with CO2. And then things sanitized and full of CO2 and ready to fill.
Pretty ingenious.
So we can watch beer rush out of this thing. It's really foamy, which is kind of different. We usually don't have it, usually the beer is not this, this beer's already slightly carbonated because we left it sealed up and the yeast was still producing, it was still fermenting a little bit, which is kind of unusual. But it tastes fine and it'll be, hopefully it's not going to cause us a problem here. Running carbonated liquid through this thing.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Trying to get a big enough sample to take a gravity reading?
the best way to check this is to sample it.
There you go. Where'd those little glasses go?
What are we checking here?
The final gravity.
But it's so foamy.
Oh, it's one big science experiment.
That's right. Well, specific gravity is the way to measure alcohol content.
Yeah.
You take the gravity measurement at first, you're just comparing the density of that liquid to the density of water. And at first, there's all these dissolved sugars in the liquid, you know, and so it's denser than water by quite a bit. And then when it's done fermenting, some of that sugar was turned into alcohol. Yeast eat the sugar, turn it into alcohol. Nothing else went in or out, and alcohol is considerably lighter than water. So now the density is not as high as it was before. And the difference in the initial density from the final density multiplied by some constant gives you the alcohol percentage. Simple physics at
For
work.
those of you at home, we're going to put a guide up for everything
right.
out on the screen. Yeah, that was...
Look how clear that stuff is.
I think it's the dextrin malt.
Ah, dextrin malt. Right. We call this light beer.
All right, we got to get going.
All right, let me give you your
Down to,
your mic back.
It's supposed to be an island. And...
Say hi to Paul for me.
Okay, we'll do.
Good guy.
I talked to him on the phone this morning.
I like this. It says we keep moving the bridge. Like
Everybody knows everybody. It's such a
Small business.